My name is Ed Bergin, Edward J. Bergin. My rank, retired out of the reserves as 06 Navy captain. My bosun mate wound up, I guess when we first started off, he's a pretty tough guy, and I think he thought it was his boat, not realizing it was my boat. So we started off on those. He kept the boat in beautiful shape, but he would always just irritate me a little bit about what he wanted to do about things. So one day we finally had it out, and I said, look, boats, it's my boat. It's your boat when it's in port. It's your boat when it needs to be painted, fueled, armed. When I step on this thing, it's my boat. If something happens to it, I'm the one, not you. And he was, like I say, he's a pretty tough old guy. He wasn't old, he was 30, 32, I think. And I said, how do you want to settle it? You want to fight? Do you want to arm wrestle? He said he'd arm wrestle. I beat him, so that was the end of it. But he was a great guy. We got ambushed at doing a PSYOPS mission, which I think was worthless. We had 2 Army guys on board. We got ambushed at a little town called Colay. It's right next to an infamous town that became infamous later, My Lai. 3 automatic weapons. And it was, I'll never forget the day because it was absolutely flat calm. The water was crystal clear. It was beautiful. And we'd stopped, and I had these Army guys with us, and we were eating some sea rats, and an albatross landed on the water. And my bosun mate looked at me, and we never saw any seagulls or albatrosses. I don't know why he used to say this, because the enemies were eating them all. But it landed on the water, and he looked at me and he said, "You know about an albatross?" I said, "Well, you know, I've heard, you know, that they're bad luck." He said, "They are bad luck," he said. 10 minutes later, he's dead. We were broadcasting propaganda to the Viet Cong, telling them to come out and surrender, and that they would be treated fairly. And we were running the beach, we were only about maybe 50, 75 yards off the beach, and they were bunkered into the sand dune with shrubbery all around it. So they were just little gun ports. I could see 3 guns go off, and he saved my life. He, as we went down, he said, "Look, there's bunkers there." And I said, "Where? I don't see them." He put the binoculars on the 50 caliber and said, "Look down the 50." And I bent over, and as I bent over to look, and I could see the winking, and the buzzing came by, it sounded like bees, and he got hit in the eye. He went down, and at the time, he got off, he pushed me out of the way first. That's what happened. He pushed me out of the way first, and he started firing the 50. And I got down around the 30 down there, and I was shooting the 30, just shooting it up and down the beach. And he was on the 50, and then it stopped. And when it stopped, I jumped up and grabbed the 50, because that was something that was very deadly. And I couldn't figure out what had happened, and I saw him off to the side, but nothing registered. I just kept shooting, and I called for my engineman to help him out. I didn't know what was wrong, and he said he's not going to make it. So Raul Herrera Bean told Bean, I said, "Get on the radio and call that destroyer out there and tell him we've got either a WIA or a KIA on board, and we need help, and I'm headed that way. I'm going to make their side." And then give them the coordinates of where those bunkers are, and tell them, ask them if they'll fire time on target with the 5-inch. And he did, and we made the side. They picked the bosun mate up and put him on the destroyer, and then Huey Medvac came in and actually just about put his strut on the rat lines of the destroyer, and they put him in. And as it headed off, they said, "He's still alive." And I was, in my mind, I was thinking, gosh, with that, I saw the wound, I just didn't see how he could survive. And if he did, you know, would he be blind? Would he be paralyzed? And I just felt horrible. I mean, and Bean started crying. He and I set up on the pilot house there from the 50s, and the boat. We're going back to Chulai and trying to tell him that you know, everything's gonna be all right. They called us, said he died. They'd given him a shot of adrenaline, tried to bring him back, but he didn't make it. One humorous story that you may like. Tell you what a tough guy that boatswain was. When we got Bean, Raul Herrera, he was a draftsman. That was his rate. I'd never seen a draftsman rate before, but here he is. And I said, well, you're going to be a radio man on my boat because I don't have a radio. He said, I don't know anything about radios. That's what you got to find out. You got to learn flash and light and semaphore. Well, every time I would catch him, he would have his earphones on, listening to mariachis or some music, you know, Beatles maybe. And I said, Bean, you got to be practicing it. Because at night, if we get challenged by a destroyer, I don't read flashing light. You gotta know how to do it. You're my radio. And he just, he was a little slow on working at it. So one day I said to the boatswain, I said, Boats, he's got to learn that flashing light. I said, make him sit down and study it an hour, 2 hours a day. So I guess probably getting ready to go on patrol. So it's probably in the morning, 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning. Bean comes up to my quarters. I'm just getting everything put together, and he's covered in grease and dirt and stuff. And he's all upset, not sure what's wrong. He said, the bosun mate locked me in the lazarette with a flashlight and told me don't come out till I learn semaphore and flashing light. I said, oh boy. So, but anyway, he learned flashing light, and everything went well. Bosun mate is buried in Louisiana, in Baton Rouge. Well, he's buried in his hometown, but there's a plaque in Baton Rouge for him. He's sorely missed by all of us. Two of my crew during the ambush, one of them now lives up in South Dakota. I think he got hit when he was up on the Quaviet. I think he got shot through the kidney. He's got diabetes, and Bean has now got diabetes. So there's a good possibility that Agent Orange is going to affect a lot of these guys as they get older. I don't know how much older we're going to get. I'm 70 now. But that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.